And that's how slick I lost my virginity. That's how I answer your question.
Wow. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. That's how I lost my
I got
virginity.
you. I got you. Yeah, that's how you lost your virginity.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. It's wild, man.
Yeah, that was the craziest story, man.
At least I can say, what is it? There's a lot of people that lie about how they lost their virginity. At least you told the
That
truth.
was a crazy thing that happened to me, and no one else would know besides you, man.
Yeah, well, forget that girl.
Yeah, yeah, move on, man. I know, I know.
It's
So, welcome back to No Pun Included. How's everyone doing? Slick, how you been, man? How's your weekend?
oh, chilling, chilling. People want me to kiss and tell, but I can't kiss and
I
tell.
understand, man. I was like, oh my god, he almost baited you,
Yeah,
man.
bro, they trying to bait me in there. Like, what's up with you,
Could have
bro?
been worse.
Come on, the baby's probably watching. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna talk to you ever again.
Oh my god, bro.
That's how I
How
am.
dare you do that to me?
Eggs.
Do you think she'd watch our show? Ask, what's
She
wrong with these
probably does. She
people?
probably does, but I don't want to bring her in here to be honest with you.
Oh, come on, Slick. What's
I
the wor?
I
What's
like
the?
I like my lives to be separated
Okay, what's
sometimes.
the worst thing? No, no, I can see what happens. Honestly,
Yep.
what? How bad can it?
Yeah. Yeah. Really think about it.
Yeah, my flashback's
Really
coming
think
back.
about that. Yeah.
But today I have a guest come on my show. I found him. I follow him on Instagram for a long time. His art is a mixture of pop culture and a Renaissance art, which he collabed very well. People love him and people hate him on the internet. So can you bring on guest Slick?
Oh, I got you.
Hey man,
Hey,
how you
how you doing?
been?
Not too bad. I'm looking here at your prints and dogs and horse. It's
Oh yeah,
the decor is
yeah.
pretty
Our
great.
studio's filled with art styles like this, from painting to from drawing art style like this to painting out there. It's like a cool art house here. You can hang all your art
I
and
love
cool
it.
things. Thank you, thank you. So, man, tell me about yourself.
What would you like to know? I'll tell you anything you want.
Well, first, I would get good introduction to yourself.
My name is Kalian. The NFN is no first name. I legally just have one name, so
Really?
I use the NFN for a first name. Yeah, legally, if you have one name, it has to be your last name.
Oh, really?
So I've got a last name. Yeah,
No, that's
because
ridiculous. Oh.
yeah, it didn't. It started when I was 22. Before that, I had two names, but then I had one. So then when I went to get my driver's license with one name on it, then there was an NFN, and that's when I found out the secret of the last name. So
Wow.
it has to be a last name.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. And yeah, I've been following you for a long time now. Like, I forgot how I even find you, but your art style is very out of this world.
Yeah,
Like, how you got started
that's
on that?
well. I originally was when I was about 26 or 27. I wanted to be an artist, and I started off drawing. Then I went into sculpture. I don't know if you've seen my layered glass sculpture work.
Oh yeah, I seen some parts
Anyways,
of it.
yeah. So I was doing that, and then I decided to paint. And for some reason, I had been doing when I was really young. I did music, and I did a little bit of hip hop sampling. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I thought, well, why don't people make paintings by putting that kind of stuff together?
Mhm.
And so I did it, and now that's what I'm known for. But I'm actually kind of changing directions a little bit from that. But for the past 5 years, that's what I've been doing.
That's amazing. And wait, you
So
say you were 20. Wait, how old are you, man? I thought you were in your 20s.
now I'm 38.
Wow. Damn, good on you. Good.
Yeah. Now I'm an old man. I got three kids and a wife
You
and all
don't
that
look like
kind
the
of
guy
stuff.
has three kids.
Yeah, 14, 12, and 11.
Wow. It's amazing. You have all this
Yeah.
time to make your art style and your look. Like I remember your post. Like when you one of your art you posted, you got a lot of likes, but same time a lot of hate for it. I saw you post each one of them your story, which is
Yeah.
absurd.
Well, the thing about the hate is, see, my dad's from India, so then my work has a lot of Indian ideas in it,
Hmm.
and they're not meant to be offensive. India, the Hindus are the ones who are getting upset, right? So I'm putting all this Hindu iconography in it, but because of the way their belief system is structured, there really should be no cause for offense no matter what you do, because it's not dogmatic. Like if you look at Christianity, if you don't think Jesus is God, then you're not a Christian. That's it. But there's no such thing like that in Hinduism. There's no belief system. You can be an atheist and say you're a Hindu. It doesn't
Wow.
matter. There's temples of Hindu gods fucking, like everything is on the table. So then I'm doing like pretty minor stuff, but what I hadn't realized is in the last 20, 30 years in India, there's been a political movement unrelated to religion, but they've incorporated religion into it, saying things like, "Oh, the Christians are coming to take away our heritage," or the
Really?
Muslims are coming and they're gonna, yeah. So then I do this stuff and I'll throw Jesus in it or whatever, which should be theoretically everything. Like I said, everything's on the table. But they, for political reasons, the younger generation, kids in their 20s on Instagram are getting really upset. Like, you're trying to convert us to Christianity or whatever they think I'm doing. You're
Oh,
making fun of us.
I
Yeah.
know, like I already never like how's work. I already never seen some of your stories. Like how bizarre, and angry people can get over some small things, and
It's
some
nothing. Like, I
and
never saw it coming.
yeah, and then I saw
Yeah.
something where you reacted maturely about this. I remember you're like going like hitting back at them. It's like, oh no, I'm so angry. I was like, okay, cool, see ya.
Yeah. Well, what else can you say? Like, I'm not trying to offend anybody. They're offended.
But I
All
want
right. And then if you
no,
try to explain to them, they only get more offended. That's the thing.
I
Say,
guess you're
no, no, I'm really not trying to, because they don't understand their own belief system. So I'm like, no, this isn't meant to be offensive. Like, they tell me, you don't understand. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But
also I want
the
how
older generation, I think, gets it.
yeah, possibly. But do you
Yeah.
think if they had the same technology it was back then, it would be the same thing or different?
It's very possible. No, I think it's very possible. I think there's also been a cultural shift all over the world. I compare those people, like in the United States, you see on the left, you see like people hardcore saying that everybody on the right is a fascist, and everybody on the right saying everybody hardcore on the left is a fascist, and it's the same thing over there. So you
Right.
get this, and I think it's happening all across the world, is this extreme political divide right now. Religion isn't so significant in the United States, so you don't see it so much.
Yeah.
You see it a bit, like
Yeah, but
really,
you
really right-wing people,
yeah,
but
but usually
it's not,
you know what's
yeah.
funny? Usually the minorities of those groups tend to be more vocal.
Right.
Like
And
I
in India, like
yeah.
religion is big there, so the political lines are drawn along the lines of religion. That's where the line
Wow.
is. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how things are. And I remember last thing I heard from India is how they made fun of America of having long lines during elections. Like, oh, we have 1 billion people here. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. They probably, I don't even know how their elections work over there, but maybe it's smooth running. I have no idea. It's
Prospect, that's
probably
right
really
here. It's
corrupt.
like we don't have long lines. What's going on? You had to wait hours to vote. Wow, you guys suck. It's like, man, don't
Well,
make fun
it
of us. We
wouldn't
try our
shock.
best.
We try our best. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I think over there, probably, knowing the way everything else works, it's probably just really corrupt. You cast your vote and then they burn it, and just whatever vote they want is what you
Hmm.
voted.
Hmm. That's new. But I
Yeah.
also like another thing. Art style is like you mix some things like how Miyazaki's work with your art style and other religious
hmm
icons. How you came up with ideas with that to mix them, and it works so it flows well too during the artwork.
I think if you look at the internet, that's what you're getting. You do a Google search for a cat, and you're getting like a realistic cat and a cartoon cat and a Hayao Miyazaki cat, and that's the Instagram. You're just scrolling through all this stuff. So I think for me it was natural. Like, it didn't require any thought. That's like if you like art and you follow a bunch of different accounts on Instagram, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some maybe history of art, Renaissance stuff. You're going to get a guy who draws cartoons. You're going to get the whole thing. And for me, putting all that together didn't seem like a stretch. The execution, I mean, it does take some work to make it look right together, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, it seems like you got this like effortlessly and flawless. Like must take an hours, probably days to complete it, maybe weeks.
Uh, Yeah, weeks, months at times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's showing art right there. That's some good work. Like, do you have any big artists, celebrities, or anyone in that area follows you or see like in awe and amazement?
Anybody that follows me that's big? I mean, I think there's a lot of. I never know who follows me. Uh, I know that there's some celebrities who follow me because they'll message me every once in a while. I'm like, oh, they follow me. I know there's a bunch of basketball players that follow me,
Really?
which is weird because I'm a huge basketball fan. I don't know how they found me because my work doesn't have anything to do with basketball. But
Well, I
maybe I
know it.
just know. Yeah.
Like, do you like? Have you know like when you know like your artwork gotten big, probably parts of the world or around the world? It seems like a lot of people in the art world knows you by now.
The art world is funny because
It
it's
usually
really
is.
small. Yeah. It's extreme. Our world is extremely tiny. And there's a lot of artists who are major in the art world. Like I always think about Nathaniel Mary Quinn. Do you know who that is?
No, I know.
And he's probably one of the biggest artists in the world right now. He's about my age,
Hmm.
as far as I know, but maybe he's in his 40s. But he is represented by Gagosian Gallery, which means everything he does is worth like half a million dollars at least.
Really?
Well, he has 16,000 followers on Instagram.
Really? But quick question. This is like I'm just like the producer in the back listening to this. But I
Yeah,
just have
yeah,
to ask you a question. What's going on? My name's Slick.
yeah.
But I just have to have
What's
you a
up, Sly?
question. Because you saying the art world is small, but I see so many artists. Like you see the artist that
Hmm.
that's printed behind him is mostly like it's just one artist that does that and he does it with pencil.
Right.
But so, are you saying like the art, like, is the like?
Hmm.
There's so much variations of art. I would think that would be bigger
Hmm.
than what you say. To be honest with you,
Okay.
like,
No,
That's
good
no,
question.
but you know the game because you're an
No,
artist. So it's like I wouldn't want to step
that's
on.
the that's the key question, and that's why so many artists uh, get so discouraged because there's levels to the art world. There's sell your work on Etsy,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people like that.
most
Then there's
definitely.
people who do it in their spare time, but then they have another job, but they like it. That's maybe
Mhm.
below Etsy even. And then there's like people who are represented by mid-level, low-level galleries.
Uh huh.
So they're selling for 500, $1,000,
Mhm.
maybe even every once in a while they get to $5,000. But something big. So then the problem comes in where it's hard to make a living doing that.
Hmm.
So then you try to get to the next level where you're selling for $10,000 a pop, and it's almost impossible to get there. And then there's the real art world, and I'm not there yet. It's like the real art world is Earth. I'm like a satellite trying to land.
Oh, okay.
And
But
most artists, if I've spent 10 years being like on Jupiter,
mhm.
like you're trying to get to the spot, but it's very difficult. It's very elitist,
Oh,
and
so there's probably so there's like a
yeah,
hierarchy depending on.
Yeah.
It seems like there's
the
a hierarchy.
hierarchy is
Yeah.
yeah. And even within the art world, there's collectors. I know I met a collector in Los Angeles a couple months ago,
Hmm.
and he's famous and everything
Oh.
as a collector.
Mhm.
And but galleries won't sell to him, and he can't buy the most expensive art. And once artist, he can buy artists. I'm not kidding. Like you think this must be a major collector? No, he can buy artists for $100,000 for a painting. But once they get to the $1 million range, those artists don't want to deal with him anymore because dealing with him, they feel like can lower the value of their work. Even if he bought it for a million, other collectors who buy won't want to buy because they sold to him.
Wow.
So we're talking about this very small world where everybody knows each other, and then you get the situation like that. So when I'm talking about the art world, I'm talking about museums and the kind of artists that are represented by museums, and the museums are all patronized by collectors. So the collectors buy the work and they give it to the museum. So there's these relationships, and that's how it all works. So to get into that crowd, I could make music, like, I think my work is museum work. Some of my
Mm-hmm.
work is 36 feet long. Where are you going to put that?
Yeah, true. Because
But
like
it's going to be, I'm going to be in my 40s by the time that happens for
that,
me.
and man, what is it? I
Yeah.
hopefully it gets closer. Like probably it's on your 40th birthday, because I feel like you've been doing it for a while. You should be noticed by now. I just feel like that's just wrong of the hierarchy
Oh.
system in the
Well,
galleries.
like, that's the thing. Like, I'm
Yeah,
selling. I
yeah,
can support my family.
that's good.
And maybe for some people, they'll be like, hey, you know what? It's all good. But the thing is, I keep on pushing to get higher. I think a lot of artists keep pushing to get higher, or
Yeah,
they quit.
yeah,
There's a big
most
crowd of people.
definitely. I'm glad you still have
And
that
then the
spot,
other,
man.
I'll tell you another interesting thing about it. You would think if you make amazing work and you just do it forever, eventually they're gonna notice you, like at that level. But you gotta also make work that's popular, that's in vogue with them. Like imagine it's like the jazz community, like, and music is the entire art community, but the jazz community is the art world. So you got all these people making pop and this and that, and the jazz people are like, no, no, that's bullshit. So
Wow.
you have to not only make, not only have to get in with them, you have to make work that they're gonna say, okay, we want that. And it's very so. I mean, it's broader than just a genre. It's not just jazz, because you see people making like plastic sculptures or paintings, and they've made it to the top. So you can do all kinds of things, but it's difficult to do it if you're making work. Like, I've been told that because there's a religious component to my work, it's going to be hard for me to make it there.
Hmm.
But I've also been told, well, since your religious component isn't Christianity, you probably will make it. But if I was a religious artist doing serious religious work of Christianity, not ironic, then I'll never make it. Or if I'm doing what they call, like, if I was doing like science fiction work, like let's say I love painting, I was painting like 40-foot tall paintings, amazing. But it's like science fiction, it's like monsters or whatever, you'll never make it. In fact, if you're doing good paintings, like let's say I'm a photorealist painter, the chances of me making it are 1 in 100 if I'm like one of the best photorealist painters in the world. Yeah, because photorealism doesn't sell. If you look at what everybody's doing, like everybody says, oh, my kid could do that. Why is it in the museum? That's why it's in the museum. That's what people want to see at that level. They want to see this, like somebody to splatter it, like their feelings came up. Like there's a concept there, and some of those painters are really great painters. I'm not taking away from them, but it's a style that people want to see there. And you have to sometimes bring something new to the table, like culturally, like or like right now, identity is big in the world, right? People say they want to identify by their culture. Like, okay, I'm a Indian American uh, heterosexual male. Like that's how everybody identifies themselves. I'm a
Right.
gay, black, whatever. Whatever they're gonna be.
It's
I'm
like
Arabian.
it's like a mixed match of everything.
Right, but everybody right now, identity is key in the world. Like if somebody gets stabbed, and you read a newspaper article about them, it won't say man stabbed. It'll say black man stabbed, white man stabbed. It'll tell identity is key, right? And people are fighting for identity. In the art world, is the same thing. So white men in the art world have traditionally dominated, but people haven't thought about it. So now they're starting to think about it, and you get a situation where if you're something else, like I'm something else, then maybe you have a slight leg up because people are looking for something else right now. Oh, it's a woman. Okay. Oh, they're from wherever. They're from South Africa. Okay, that's not a white guy. There's something else. So right now, so the art world is also what's in vogue. So it's not realistic painting. It's not this. It's not that. Do you have the identity thing? Right now, it's harder to make it if you're a white man. 20
Wow.
years ago, it would have been easier to make it if you're a white man. There's museums. A museum director got fired in San Francisco. He'd been there 25 years, and he's a pretty major figure in the art world. He got
Really?
fired because he said, this was his exact quote, something along these lines. Over the next 5 years, we want to collect more artists of color and more female artists. That's going to be our focus. don't worry, we're still gonna, if you're white, whatever, we'll still look at your work, but that's our focus.
Oh.
The fact that he said, if you're white, we'll still look at you, people in the museum got mad at him, said that he was insensitive, and that he should step down. So
Wow.
then the Board of Trustees got rid of him. Because he didn't just say, yeah, we're going to be focusing on people of color. So identity is big right now. So for me, I'm a person of color. People are open to that more than they would be if I was just my mom's side of the family, which is white.
Wow. So people,
Yeah.
so basically people different, anything that's white have more of a chance to be making the art world.
100% traditionally, and probably even still right now. 100% if you're white. Like, also from New York. The art scene exists in New York City. That's where it exists. I live in Miami. There's nothing here. You can't sell. Even I've been to the biggest gallery in Miami. Okay, like they sell major artists, but those artists, I didn't understand this at the time. So this is how it works. I went to them. I'll tell you what happened with me, and then I'll tell you why this happened.
Well, actually, let's make it
That's
short because
what
you're
I-
running out of time, actually.
Okay, I told them. But to answer his question about their world, because it's probably nobody's ever asked me these questions, but their world is fascinating. I asked them, how do I make it? Can I be represented by you? He represents the biggest artist in the world. He said, if I represent you, you'll never make it.
Wow.
He says, I represent these artists because they're the biggest artists in New York, and the big New York galleries made them big, and now I can represent them in Florida. Me
Wow.
representing you in Florida doesn't make you big anywhere else. And
Art
that's it.
is a cool but cruel thing to do.
Yes.
Like one
The
last
most
question.
cruel.
One last question before we
Yeah.
go. Like, which artist or anyone inspired you to create those type of things you make?
Honestly, I don't care about visual art so much. I love movies and music.
Hmm.
So when Kubrick, I've been watching a lot of
Nice.
Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Like these, for me, these are my heroes.
That's amazing.
So when I make a piece of art, I'm trying to compete with Christopher Nolan.
Wow, really?
Like well, think about it. Like if you go see Inception or Tenet or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like this visual thing blowing your mind conceptually, every level, it's crazy. And then you walk into a gallery and you see a painting, it's like, well, that's not as crazy as the movie I just saw. Like for me, visually, we all live in the same world. The same people are going to see both things. So I have to make something which kind of competes with Interstellar. I mean, what are we talking about? Like
Oh.
Avengers Endgame, whether you like it or hate it, is a visual spectacle beyond belief.
Hmm.
And then I'm making, what am I going to make to compete with that?
That seems
I
fair.
mean, yeah.
Wow, your art style is definitely granular. That's for sure.
I appreciate that.
Well, I think that's our time for now. I'm Vinny Alves, and can you introduce you one last time? Where you can find you?
NFN Kalyan. You can search for me. I'm mostly on Instagram at NFN Kalyan, Kalyan, as it says at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if everybody sees that.
I'm sure they will. If not, we're posting on radio anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
What,
that's all.
what's this platform? Where do you guys publish?
Oh,
Your,
Facebook, YouTube, radio stations,
Okay.
places like that. Anchor, Spotify,
very
also.
cool. All right.
Thanks for nice having you, man. I was happy to see you and talk to you. That's amazing.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
All the best to you guys. How many people are in that room?
Just me and Slick, just two of us.
All right. All right.
Well,
Have a good one,
night,
Slick.
everybody.
Why can't I see? We don't get to see Slick.
He's a mystery man.
He's a mystery man.
Yeah,
Uh,
Nick. Yeah, Nick. Yeah. Let me give you Slick's info, all right? No,
All right, that
definitely.
sounds good.
Well, have a good night, guys. Bye.